And a good morning to you. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. It's a little bit later than usual. For me, I was out at a polling place helping a friend set up their polling material on election day. So that's what I was doing today. We'll get started in just a second, but first, coffee. Ah, yes, the Ethiopian does it again. I know eventually I'm going to get sick of Ethiopian the same way I got sick of Sumatra. But we will find a suitable replacement. If you have any suggestions, I'm always open to new coffees. Let's get started. It's better to hear the cold, hard truth now than to experience it later. 7 out of 10 gals will tell you that their ex was abusive. Right now, your ex is telling another man that you were abusive. When a woman says her last guy was too possessive, that's code for she still had a lot to do. When she tells you that, remember what I said. This is commented on by Carl from Black Label Logic. Most men, and the author of Gendernomics, most men marry a quality woman, but divorce a heinous bitch. Just judging from what they say on their wedding day versus what they say in the bar after they were served with divorce papers. Right along line with what I said. The woman you divorce is so different than the woman you married. If you don't believe it, ask any man who's been divorced. Strong, independent woman not looking to jump into anything. Go ahead, guys. Translate that down below for the new fellas. Green Room, one of the most edgy horror films I've ever seen. Most people I know have never seen Green Room. I loved it. Find it and watch Patrick Stewart's amazing performance. Like nothing you've ever seen. Fountain pen fans, what paper do you prefer? 39% said blank, 46% said lined, 15% said dotted. Fountain pen fans, what nibs do you prefer for writing? 59% said fine, 41% said medium. I'm going to put a link down below for my interview with Rollo Tomasi in the studio. It's about a 27-minute interview. You'll learn some things. What I'm not doing is going over all of his Rational Male material if you've already done that. I don't like to reheat topics. I want to pull things out of him that are current relative to you now. Starting soon, No Folly November. 31 Days to Wisdom. Proverbs speaks to men. We have No Shave November, No Fap November. I said No Excuses November. How about No Folly November? Folly is a mistake or a series of mistakes that do bear consequences. Many of the consequences that I still bear today are from my folly 5, 10, 20 years ago. The less you do, wrong. And the less dumb decisions you make now, the less consequences you're going to experience 5, 10, and 20 years from now. Thank God I got my shit together. Testosterone may win a round or two, but ultimately wisdom wins the fight. Betas and white knights always come out of hiding whenever you talk about what women do. Then always they have to try to even the score and say, well, men do that too. Keep rescuing. Dorks, keep rescuing. Go for it. It never ends well. The Mexican Playboy says, people will always influence your life. Pick wisely. I recently began watching the YouTube videos of George Bruno. This is a wise pick. Do yourself a favor and follow George Bruno. Thank you, Mexican Playboy. There's a big difference between working a job and building an empire or a business. And it's never too late to make that change. I help people do that in my coaching. gb@georgebruno.com. if you want to know what that's all about. Never write to get published, write to get paid. Same thing with videos. Don't make videos to be seen, make videos to get paid. Being seen and getting published doesn't pay your bills. Put your kids through college. Take care of your elderly parents. Get paid. Period. I was an academic, worked in many colleges. I was a clinical director in a psych clinic. I mixed with some of the most pompous academics you can imagine. People that wrote a lot of books. Books that people don't read. Write the kind of books that people read. I don't care if it's a 20-page ebook. You can have more impact on a life in 20 pages than you can in 400 pages of a bunch of rules for life. Think about that. If liberals don't believe in a biological gender, then why do they march for women's rights? How many of you are trading time for money? Many of you are making money while you sleep, passive, residual income. Passive, residual income. Study the story and business sense of John Paul DeJoria, founder of Paul Mitchell Systems. It's the best business story ever. His Stanford University speech to their MBA students is probably one of the best you will ever hear. Better than any TED Talk. John Paul DeJoria. Look it up. The video is on YouTube. John Paul DeJoria. The Stanford University speech. And then after you listen to it, comment back here. Appreciate that. Just to see what you think. If your woman goes on a sex strike, no more sex, she says. Keep quiet. Get your financial shit together. Get your life in order. And serve her divorce papers. Sex can no longer be leveraged to manipulate you. Find a woman who loves you, who loves sex, and is compatible with your mission. Oh, but it's all right. Once you get past the pain, you'll learn to find your love again. So keep your heart open, because love will find a way. Pablo Cruz, 1978. Ah, the glorious fall and winter time. The time of year where I say to beardless guys, aren't you freezing with that bald face? Hashtag, turn the tables around. The pipe draws wisdom from the lips of the philosopher and shuts up the mouth of the foolish. It generates a style of conversation, contemplative, thoughtful, benevolent, and unaffected. William Makepeace Thackeray. The moment a man takes to a pipe, he becomes a philosopher, the poor man's friend. It calms the mind, it soothes the temper, makes a man patient under difficulties. It's made more good men, good husbands, indulgent fathers than any other thing on this earth. The biggest tips in business, when you start a business, are number one, be prepared in advance for rejection. That's number one. Number two, successful people do what unsuccessful people are willing to do. Go into business believing that you are in the reorder business, because that's where your success is going to come from. Not making the first sale, but in the reorders. That's why in business we call certain products consumables, because you need another one as soon as you're done consuming or using or utilizing the first one. That's the beauty of subscription services. I love all things dairy, but Mediterranean folk like me, we have a wicked lactose intolerance. With very aged cheeses, there's no issues. And I've heard people say that if I try raw milk or goat's milk, that would solve that. So that's one of my next journeys. How about no excuses November? Nah, that's too hard. Just give me no shave November. Today I'm going to be doing a video on, it's now Trim Tuesday, but I'm going to give it 2 weeks. If you remember from last week's outside beard trim video, I want this to fill out just a little thicker, so I'm letting it go for 2 full weeks. I'm not touching it until next Tuesday, a week from today. So today, but I'm going to do a video on shaving underneath, doing a wet shave underneath, just to give you some tips and tricks that I use to reduce irritation. I used to get all those like red dots, sometimes like little bloody dots, or sometimes bumps. And I'm going to show you how to eliminate the razor bumps and have a nice clean, look at my neck, a nice clean, clear neck when you're sporting a beard that is trimmed above the Adam's apple. Now if you have a full beard and it, like, my hairline stops right about, I can feel the little whiskers right about here. When I had the big beard, my beard grew out. All of this area here all grew out. Now that I'm trimming it 2 fingers above the Adam's apple, I can feel the whiskers right here. So I'm going to be shaving from here up to here. I'm going to show you what works, what doesn't, and why. That will be later today. Look for that video. How to shave underneath your beard. Well, that's it for today. Look for the link down below of my video, my interview with Rollo Tomasi. It may open your eyes to some things, it may not. Either way, it's interesting. And I have probably about 30 more interviews that will be coming real soon. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, please. That would be awesome. Until then, have a great day. Thanks.